Hi, this is Matt in Penang National Park in Malaysia, and the topic of this video is gamification and calorie counting. Lately Fitbit advertises a lot in Singapore, and I've got one of them. It's a nifty little device, and I use it to monitor my sleep and to monitor my heart rate while exercising. Now what this device also allows you to do is to get an estimate of how many calories you burn during the day. And this, in the context of weight loss, it's actually based on the assumption that you will lose weight if you burn more calories than you take in. This assumption is misguiding. So what is a calorie anyway? Well, it's a measure of energy. It doesn't measure fat, it measures energy. It's the amount of work that you can do using this food if you burn it. So if you do a specific reaction, which is a combustion, that involves oxygen and that produces carbon dioxide and water. And the definition of a calorie is the amount of energy you need to raise the temperature of a kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. That's it. That's the definition of a calorie. So how do you measure how many calories are in food? Well, you're simply going to use a calorimeter, which literally burns the food inside the device. We've got a combustion chamber and some water around it. The combustion releases energy that raises the temperature of the water, and then you just measure that. The measure is really a measure of a specific thing, which is the combustion of food. It's burning food, which is not necessarily what you do when you eat it. It's not necessarily what happens. It is partially what happens, but not completely. So when health devices recommend to count the calories, really what they say is that you're going to lose fat if you lose more calories than you take in. Now, in order to lose fat, the focus shouldn't be counting calories. It should be avoiding all the mechanisms that trigger fat storage. And this is essentially how you metabolize carbs, carbohydrates. As soon as you eat carbohydrates, anything that's not going to be used immediately as energy is going to be stored as fat storage. There's that particular thing with carbohydrates, that they're not excreted. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is a very big lizard. Hang on. So what happens when you eat 100 calories of carbs, of refined carbs? But number one, the energy is going to be used by your muscle cells immediately. But this is not going to be that much because you're not exercising intensely all the time. Most of the time you're not. So second stage, the excess energy is going to be used to replete the glycogen reserves inside your muscle cells, which is very useful for short-term needs in energy. That's the second stage. But at one point, the glycogen stores will be full, and this is when third stage kicks in, where the excess energy is going to be turned into triglycerides, so into fat storage. And this is the point that you want to avoid. That's what everyone is trying to escape from. Now, what happens when you eat 100 calories of fat? Well, it's not as clear, it's not as straightforward as with carbs. So part of it is going to be excreted. It's not even going to be absorbed. Part of it is going to be used as nutrients for various parts of the body, such as the brain. Then part of it might be used as storage, fat storage. But it's not completely clear how much, and the process is longer. And it's much less straightforward than with eating carbs. So in conclusion, in order to lose fat, you can forget about counting calories. That's not productive. It's actually it's not optimal at all. You can also forget about fat altogether. So don't try and avoid it, and don't try and burn it. It's extremely counterproductive. The only mechanism you want to focus on is the mechanism of fat generation, which is triggered by glucose spikes, blood glucose spikes, and that's it.